Hey guys, how's everyone doing? My name is Zach McKee, and this is my podcast, Space Between Spaces. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so I come to talk to everybody today about 2020. And 2020 has been a really weird year. It's been the weirdest. I was born in 1995, and I've talked to people that are 10, 20 years older than me, and they say, yeah, this is the weirdest year I've ever experienced. And it's true. It's true, man. It's weird. And the whole purpose of me bringing this up is to talk about mental health and emotional health. Like, the suicide rates are at an all-time high this year. More people have committed suicide this year than any other year in the past. And I don't know how factual that is, but with the quarantining and isolation, it makes so much sense. Depression is just a cause that leads to suicide. I can guarantee that that's at an all-time high too, and same with anxiety. And the most important thing to me, and that I realize that I need to do is to speak out on it and say, hey, let's be compassionate. Let's take each day to be more compassionate and understanding about what other people are going through. Because yeah, me as a person, I do experience depression sometimes, and I do have moments where I'm anxious, and I do have weaknesses in my life, weak points and insecurities, but I'm so grateful for the privilege that I have, especially this privilege right here, to be able to sit in the comfort of my own apartment and speak what I want to speak freely. That's a great privilege, and I'm blessed. We should all be blessed to have that. Um, but some people don't. It's hard to find gratitude in our daily lives, especially being in a first world country. You know, the main focus nowadays, and I think why people are so depressed and anxious, the main focus nowadays isn't, waking up to go to work so you can eat and put food on the table and pay the bills. And nowadays it's something else. You're working to be a consumer, to buy the next new iPhone, to buy the next new MacBook, to buy the next new thing coming out, and to make sure everyone in your family has it, because if you don't, then you're left out. It's not just survival mode anymore. We're not living to survive. We're living to consume and make other people rich. And I'm not, there's not a complete negative in that, because when you buy the new iPhone, you are paying for somebody's, rent that needs it. You are paying and helping for somebody that's raising a kid and needs it. So I'm not saying it's bad, but we're consumers, and we're profiting the very, very, very high financial elite, the top 0.01% of people that make so much more money than we do. And where do we get back to those roots of just living to survive and being appreciative for what we have? Because when I was at my lowest points in life, I was overlooking the most grateful things I could have, which is things a lot of people don't have. I had food on the table. I had a place to live. I have hot water. I have heat, air conditioning, and some people don't have that. And how do we see the things that we can be grateful for? And as a person who's experienced depression and anxiety, I want to let anyone listening know, like, I'm here. I'm here to hear. I'm not here to judge you, because life is tough, especially this year. Life's tough. And I'm with you, and I'm going to do my best to feel for anyone who's going through these issues, because it's not a joke. It's not a joke. And there is a brighter side, especially if we lived in this privileged country that we live in, first world country. It's a blessing. But it's not like that for some people. People in America struggle too. And some people don't get to live in the first world part of America where they don't have to worry about a car or food or a place to live or a job, especially jobs. People, this is, it doesn't matter how much money you make. Some people just don't have jobs. Some people just lost their jobs, especially with small businesses, jobs have been lost. Uh, Businesses are just crashing, and big corporations are thriving. Um, it's just the world we live in. So I take time every day when I wake up to appreciate my job. Even if there's things I don't like about my job, I take time like, hey man, I got a job. I wake up, I got a job. I make enough money to pay the rent and put food on the table. Um, it's not really any more that I can be grateful for. I have insurance. I have a car. I have heat, hot water, and it's like, wow, 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 wow. And if you're one of those people that you're going through depression or anxiety and you got these basic needs, I promise you, if you tune into uh, that gratefulness, that gratitude for these little things, it will make your life a little bit better. I'm not making promises like that's the answer, but it will. But to the people that are going through something, suicide is something that you can't put a label on or a definition of somebody's experience with it. Suicidal thoughts, attempted suicides, and actual suicides that fell through. You can't, dude. You cannot put a measure on what that person goes through every day. I've heard people say suicide's selfish, and it's real selfish. I think it's more selfish for anyone to think so. It's selfish to think. It's selfish of somebody to think that another person's suicide is selfish. You having your own opinion on that person's life you know nothing about is selfish. You trying to define what somebody else goes through without actually experiencing it is selfish, man. We have no clue other people's circumstances. We have no clue what other people go through on a daily basis. um, so treat people with compassion and empathy. And it's true, you can be compassionate and empathetic towards people and they're not going to be able to accept it. They're not going to be able to, some people just aren't tuned in like that. So, how do you be more compassionate and empathetic when the people around you aren't focused on that? And it's just like, dude, just do it. That's why I say I disconnect. I disconnect and I don't focus too much on that. Sometimes you have to disconnect with the people around you in a healthy manner so you can leave yourself empty in a sense to be compassionate towards the people that need it. Because if you waste all your compassion and energy on people who don't appreciate it, then it's just going to go to waste. That's why I detach myself from people. But it's not rude. It might come off standoffish or quiet or something like that. But you have to disconnect from people who don't appreciate you so you can put your energy elsewhere and you can still treat those people with kindness, common decency. But there's people out there that really need your compassion in the world right now. And we have a platform right now to speak out on the internet where there's so much quarantine and isolation where people don't go out as much as they used to, but we have the internet. So like, let's come together, man, and just let people know who are depressed and anxious and or suicidal even, like, hey, we're here for you. We feel you. It's okay to be that way. Um, because if you tell somebody it's not okay to be anxious, it's not okay to be depressed, that's not normal. Being suicidal is selfish or it's bad. You need help. That's where it becomes unempathetic and not understanding at all. Like people who are suicidal and depressed and anxious don't need to be told what they should be and what they shouldn't be. They need to be heard and understood and accepted, because that's the first step to them healing, is to find a group of people that are compassionate towards them. Um, Now, it's not like when you're a kid and you do something wrong and, your parent babies you and it's like, oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Like, it's not necessarily about that, because when you're a kid and you do something wrong, it's a little different than being suicidal or being depressed or being anxious. You don't know what it is exactly. You can't put your hand on it. You can't figure it out. People just need to be understood and heard. And you know what? Like it's a year to be compassionate. It's a year to be empathetic, and it's a year to find love in your heart for people, because people are struggling. And like I said, there's no huge goal to be, oh, I need to do this to be more empathetic, or I need to do this to be more compassionate. I mean, that's okay too, but it's just your daily life, day-to-day life. Approach people with compassion and love and empathy. Um, it's a process. It's really is a process, but people need it. So if you're going through some stuff, man, just know that there's people out here that care and they want to understand. Well, I hope this message finds anyone well. I hope this message finds anybody who needs it. Because right now is a weird time. 2020 is a weird time. 2020, we need compassion. We need empathy to carry into the next year, because the 2020 isn't just like something that just happened out of nowhere. These events have been building up, building up, building up, building up, building up, and boom. Now it's like, whoa, where did this happen? But it's been building up. And if you want to get back to where we were before, it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's not just 2020 is not going to end and everything's just going to go back to normal. You're going to have to get used to the new normal. And if you don't like the new normal, you're going to have to make an impact yourself. And I'm sorry about you, but posting on Facebook your political opinions aren't going to help. Posting on Facebook negativity or anger on what you feel about everything isn't going to help. It's not about Republican. It's not about Democrat. It's not about left, right. It's not about religion even. It's not about that. It's about oneness, the human race, planet Earth. It's about oneness. How are we going to fix this place that gave us life? And I think it's all starting with empathy and compassion and love and understanding. Like I said, I hope this message finds everyone well. I'm not some dude who thinks he knows the answer. I'm just sharing kind of my thoughts on everything, and like that's all. That's all. That's all we can do is share our thoughts. But it's about the intention. It's about the intention of your thoughts. It goes back to one of my podcasts before. Intake. What you intake really affects what you put out there. So if you think to yourself, I need to be a better human, I need to be more compassionate and empathetic, how am I going to do that? Watch what you intake, watch what you read, watch what you watch on TV. Is the stuff you watch filled with hate and violence? And because that fuels you. Let's just get back to a place of just love, man. It's going to take time. It's going to take years and years probably, but the first step is today. The first step is today. The first step is how you treat that person that you're with all the time. Whether it be your girlfriend, your wife, your mom, your brother, whoever those people are that you're around all the time, how you treat them is the beginning to how you treat everybody else. So question yourself and say, man, am I treating the people around me the way they need to be treated? Like, am I being compassionate and honest and loving and caring is what I'm doing? And if you're not, it's okay. You just got to change, man. We all got to change in some way, even me.